Okay, we're going to do Unit 2B, Section 3, point slope form of linear equations. So the last lesson was on slope-intercept. So that gave you the intercept and the slope. So guess what this is going to give you? By looking at this equation, you can figure out a point and you can figure out a slope. Okay? So here is the generalized form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. M is still our slope. That doesn't change. But then we actually have a point, and our point is going to be x1, y1. Now later you're going to notice something. Notice that in the equation, is that the color I want? No. There is a subtraction sign. Okay? But in the point, there is no subtraction sign. Okay? So we're always going to take the opposite of what's in there because of that subtraction. It did say subtract x1, so we're doing the positive of x1. Okay, same with y1. So let's talk. Let me talk about this. Let's do a couple of examples. So example 1 is write equation in point slope form. Okay, I got to give you some things in order to do this, right? You got to have some slope, you got to have a point or something, you got to have something. So let's say I say the slope of the line is -2, and it passes, meaning the line, point -5, 7. Well, if you haven't noticed, both words that we need are pretty much staring us in the face. Slope and point. And that's what we need to write slope point form. Okay? So the slope is -2. Oh, I did it again. Let me try this right. The slope is -2. Stop it. And the point? -5, 7. We have everything we need. We just need to put it into our equation. Now let's go back and remember what our equation was. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Well, what's our m in this problem? Here's our m, -2. M is -2. We have to, whoa, why'd they make that a 0? That's weird. Let's fix that. I probably am some weird form and I don't even know. Okay, and then we have to keep our x and our y, just like before. We're going to keep our x and our y. Not our x1, our x and our y. We also have that subtraction from the original equation. Remember, from the original formula. I am using black to show you what's from the original formula, and then I'm using the other colors to show you where I'm getting from the word problem. So what am I getting from the word problem? Okay, well, x1, y1. x1, remember, is always the first one. y1 is always this. Y is always the second piece. So x1 is -5. I'm putting that in parentheses. Y1 is 7. Oops, I forgot my equal sign. That was part of the original formula. Okay, we want it to look like this. Does it look like that? Well, we have a couple extra parentheses on that right-hand side. So let's just simplify it down so it looks correct. Why does that keep doing that? Y minus 7, that looks okay. -2, x plus 5. Why did I change that to a plus 5? What does subtract a negative actually mean? It means plus 5. Okay? So we always have to have those subtraction in there. This is point slope form. We are done. That is all for that example. Okay? Let's do another one. Example 2. Example number 2. I'm going to ask for the equation. What form do I want it in? Point slope, because that's the lesson we're on. That means there should be a point and a slope that's obvious on this. Okay? I have to give you a couple things. I'm going to give you the slope. And I'm going to give you a point. don't know why it keeps correcting. I'm in some form. Hey, that looks cute. Okay. Let's see what we have. Well, we have our m. We have our x1, y1. But we need to make sure we know what our form is. Well, what form is it? Point slope. So let's write our point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. Let's put our numbers in and see if we need to do any simplifying. Well, the y's, the subtraction, the parentheses, the x, the minus, they all are in there from the original. Now we need to put in our m. What's our m? Negative 1/2. What's our x1? 8. What's our y1? 12. Do we need to simplify anything? No, we are done. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Okay, let's do one more. And I just want to show you that when we're talking about point slope, there are infinite number of points on a line, correct? If I give you a line and I asked you to list every point on that line, would you ever be able to finish? No, of course not. Because there's always decimal. That's the cool thing about numbers. They go on forever in both directions. And then between any two numbers, there's infinite number of numbers. I mean, stop and think about that. How cool are numbers? Oh, they're so awesome. Come on, math is great. All right, let me put some points on here. I'm going to put 0, negative 1 as 1 point. And then I'm going to put 1, 1 as another point. And I'm going to put 2, 3 as a point. Well, if there's infinite number of points on a line, there's actually infinite number of answers for point slope form. Because there's infinite number of points you could use. Okay? Here's my line. Not very perfect. Let me see. Let me try again. You'd think I'd be better at this, but I'm not. It's okay. Practice makes perfect, so I'll just keep trying. There we go. Okay. There we go. A little better. All right, so we want it. I want point, slope form of the equation of this given line. Okay, remember I always told you there's a math piece and there's a picture. Well, there's the picture. Now I want the math piece. Well, what form do I want it in? You got to always ask yourself that. I want it in the point slope form. Do I know what that looks like? Well, I might have forgotten on the test, but guess what? You have a cheat sheet. And under your cheat sheet, you're going to have the point slope form written nice and neat, right? Right. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. What's not changing? Well, this y, the subtraction, the parenthesis, the x, the subtraction, and the blank. So now I have to put in some points. Well, the first thing, I don't know. What's the slope? You didn't tell me what the slope was. I can't do this problem. That's not true. You might have to go back and use your brain a little bit. It's okay. Let's count from one point to another. First of all, is it going to be a positive or a negative slope? Let's look at it. If I start at the left, I'm going up. Miss Cavanaugh likes to go up a mountain, not fall down a mountain, so she's in a positive mood. So it's a positive slope. Well, let's pick a point to start at. It doesn't matter which point you start with. I'm going to start with this one this time. Up 1, 2, so that's a plus 2, and over 1. Okay, there's my slope. 2 over 1. What if I started somewhere else? What if I started up here and I said, well, I'm going to start here? Well, then I would go down 1, 2. That's a negative 2. And to the left 1. Oh, what's negative 2 over negative 1 equal? Look at that. Math is beautiful. We know our slope is 2 over 1 or just 2. When we put in a formula, we don't need the 1 underneath of it. Now we need to pick an x1, y1. Well, how do I know which one to use? It doesn't matter. They're all going to be the same. So let's say I decide I want this to be my x1, y1. Don't try to pick a piece from each. Well, then it would be x1 is 0, y1 is 1. Let's simplify it. So it would be y minus 1 equals 2x. How do I get 2x? Well, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 0 is 0. That's my first one. That one's correct. Oh, what if I didn't like that point? What if I'm more of a mid kind of person? Maybe I picked x1, y1 is 1, 1. Legal. Perfectly legal. What stayed the same? The y, the subtraction, the parenthesis, the x, and the slope's the same. It's the same line. We're just looking at different points. So the slope is still 2, but this time I picked point 1, 1. Do I need to simplify anything? No, I do not. I'm in the correct form. I am done. I could pick. What if I didn't like that one? Well, let's see if I can do the lasso thing that Mr. And I'm going to move it. Can I move it? Just move it over here for a minute? Ha! Look at that. I'm as good as Mr. B. Okay. Again, what stays the same? The y, the subtraction. The 2 is the same because the same line. The x, the subtraction. Well, I'm picking a different point. I don't like that point. I'm going to pick x1, y1. Okay, that's fine. The 2 goes here, and the 3 goes here. All of these represent this line. They all represent this line in a different way with a different point. If we were to change it to slope-intercept form, they'd all come to the same answer. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop today.